Avatar: The Last Airbender will always have a place in my heart, as I know it does for many others. So when I heard that the head writer for that was also doing this new show, you know I was all for it. Welcome to The Critique, where we watch some animated goodies and determine whether we should tune in or tune out. I'm Son, your resident Cartoon Connoisseur, and this is The Dragon Prince. The Dragon Prince is a 2018 Netflix original. It was created by Aaron Azaz, head writer for ATLA, and Justin Richmond, co-director of Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception. Together, they founded Wonderstorm Pictures as a multimedia production studio in 2017 and quickly began work on their very first project, an animated series called The Dragon Prince that released on September 14, 2018 on Netflix. Many Avatar fans were excited, but can it truly live up to such a masterpiece? Let's find out. The intro sequence is short and underwhelming. Basically, after any recaps and whatnot, all you get is a quick shot of the border between nations and the Dragon King sworn to protect it. A shot that is ripped right out of the first episode, and you guys know how I feel about that. All the while, a somber, heavy theme plays, and while I can't say it doesn't fit the show itself, I can absolutely say that it doesn't fit the visual sequence of this intro at all. I am being shown this big, powerful dragon on a volcano overlooking a battlefield. The music shouldn't be joyous or anything, but I feel like it should be grand and epic. Also, I understand that the visuals are supposed to remind the audience about the world they're about to look into, but what's being shown here has nothing to do with the main premise. It's missing the most key elements to the backstory lore, such as the murder of the Dragon King and the destruction of the Dragon Prince egg. You know, the driving force of the plot. As for the ending, I am happy to say that it isn't just a black screen with music, but instead filled with original sketches with relevance to the episode and an orchestral track that is definitely more of a fit. The drawings are cute, and I like to stick around for the credits just to see them. After the discovery of dark magic, the elves and dragons purged all of the humans from their land, and the Dragon King rose up to protect the border. However, the humans used that very same dark magic to kill the large sky dragon and destroy the egg of his only heir, the Dragon Prince. Because of this, the elves and dragons of Xadia were outraged and sent many assassins to kill the human king responsible and his heir, in the name of poetic justice, I guess. One such assassin, in an attempt to get the job done herself, discovers along with the two princes of the realm that the dragon egg was simply stolen, not shattered, and together they journey to return it to its mother and maybe end the war between the kingdoms. One of my favorite things about Avatar was the fantastically top-notch world building, and that is absolutely present here too. My quick summary could never do it justice. The program wastes no time diving into the lore of the world and explaining its rules. It talks about what the 6 primary magic sources are, and does a good job of displaying what they do and who can use them. After the initial backstory plot dump, you get to learn more subtly, mostly through Prince Callum's ventures in learning how to be a mage. As for the active plot, I think the party's intentions and motivations make a lot of sense, and I really find myself rooting for these kids and wishing them the best, even though I recognize that war is not as simple as these young adventurers seem to think it is, and that things probably won't work out exactly how they want it to. Curse my adulthood and progressively cynical outlook on life. There are 3 main characters in this merry band, and they are as follows. Rayla, the reluctant rogue who is pretty bad at her assassinating job. Prince Callum, a step prince with a perfect memory and artistic eye that I am extremely jealous of. And Prince Ezrin, Crown Prince of Katalis with a strong connection to animals. These kids are young and naive, but I enjoy watching the pre-established relationship between half-brothers Callum and Ezrin, and the growing relationship between Rayla and the princes. The dialogue between them makes sense, and like I said before, I find myself rooting for them. Now, I'm not sure there is much of a supporting cast, unless you want to count Ezrin's animal companion Bait. Every significant character seems to ultimately be against the mission, even if not directly. This would be thanks to Rayla's existence as an elf and the stigma that surrounds her in the eyes of the Catalans. There is a young girl named Ellis and her wolf Ava that helps during the back half of the season, but it is currently unclear if she's actually joining the main character party or not. Personally, I hope she does, because her presence has already directly influenced character growth for the traveling trio, specifically Callum. I also want to talk about General Amaya for a bit. She is the late Queen's sister and commander of the front lines. She is a no-nonsense kick-butt soldier with the best interests of her nephews in mind, to the point that she will do her very best to see that the boys are rescued from the bloodthirsty elf monster. What I find interesting though is that she is deaf. She can read lips and whatnot, but she speaks only with sign language and through her interpreter, Commander Gren. I think this is awesome and unique, and I love it. Her disability makes her charming and extremely admirable. The main antagonists are the High Priest Viren and his children, Soren and Claudia. However, I want to point out that none of these people seem evil to me, and I find that very intriguing. Soren and Claudia just want to help their dad out and would really rather the princes be back home safe than out in the world with what they think to be an evil elf girl. Now, I don't really think I can talk about why Viren is my favorite character without spoilers, so if you have not seen the show and care about me spoiling, please go to this timestamp. I'll give you time to leave. Okay, I assume everyone else is interested, so here goes. Viren is my favorite character because everything he does feels like it would indeed be things that someone in his position would naturally do. I did not trust him at first, sure, because an evil advisor to the king is such a cliche, but what makes Viren different is that he isn't the evil advisor. He loves his kingdom and will do anything to protect it alongside his best friend, King Harrow of Katalis. A friend that he absolutely cares about because when assassins were on the way to kill the king, he did everything he could to protect Harrow's life. He even resolved to sacrifice his own life for his friend, saying goodbye to his daughter. It was only when he met with King Harrow that the stressed ruler snapped at Viren, claiming that they were never friends and humiliating the High Priest. This is what caused Viren to grow any resentment and skew his judgment. When he threatens Callan here, it's because he just had his fight with Harrow and was pretty rattled. Even despite everyone's terrible reaction to things, Viren still does his best for the kingdom rather than himself. Even for this scene here. He wants Claudia to retrieve the dragon egg because he believes that the elves can use it against them. But when Claudia asks if she should save the egg or her brother if she was forced to choose, he instantly goes into thought about it. This tells me that he cares about Soren deeply as his own son, but for the good of the kingdom, he picks the egg, even though the audience knows that that's not the correct choice and makes him look evil and heartless. I'm not saying he's that great of a person, and there are definitely things that are suspicious about him, but his descent into madness is gradual and organic, and I appreciate that greatly. So yeah, that's why I think the non-spoiler folks are coming back. And that's how my quick wit and excellent evasion saved the deli from the supervillain robbers. Oh, hello, welcome back. There should be no spoilers from now on, so let's move on. I'll be blunt here, the animation is pretty bad. I'm all for cel-shaded 3D, and even here the characters and environments look pretty great. But while I was researching, I found out that the animation team reduced the frame rate to better emulate 2D animation, which, I'm sorry, that doesn't make much sense. I actually had a similar problem when the trailers for Spider-Verse came out. I'm not a fan of choppy animation. However, when it was explained to me that it was like that to be reminiscent of comic books, I could live with that makes sense. But this goes a bit too far. 2D animation is typically fluid and smooth, and while it is okay and encouraged to mess with how animation works, I don't think it works well here, and I don't understand the reasoning that was given. That being said, the frame rate does normalize when it matters, like during action or when Maya is signing. So that kind of awareness is appreciated. The voice cast is decent too, with a couple of nitpicks. It took me a bit to get used to Sokka's voice coming out of not Sokka, but I'm glad that Jack Decina is here as Callan. Sasha Rohan's Ezran seems kinda bored sometimes when the context doesn't match, but the voice itself fits well. Otherwise, I really enjoy Paula Burrows as Rayla, as well as Jason Simpson as Viren, just to name a few standouts. These voices do well with the writing, which I think is beautiful. It has that familiar Avatar-style humor that knows when to back off and knows when to relieve tension. It knows when and how to explain the world, and it follows its own rules. The magic, the landscape, the music, the voices, it all looks and sounds good, even if I don't think fondly of the animation. All things considered, the show is presented pretty darn well. Overall, The Dragon Prince is a wonderful program with natural characters and enthralling storytelling. I was unable to stop watching for even a moment as I went from start to finish. For these reasons, I think The Dragon Prince is a must-watch. I freaking loved this series. But hey, that's just me. What do you think about the show? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you've made it this far into the video, you might as well subscribe and like if you enjoyed. If you would like to continue the conversation, my Twitter is active and my Discord is open to all. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll have a fantastic day today, and I hope you do too. Thanks for watching.